Look, I need you to actually pause for a second and lock in. Forget the notifications, forget the background noise. What we're talking about right now might just be the most brutally honest conversation you'll have all year. Chapter 1. The greatest investment you're ignoring. Let's look at your life right now. You've got your career, your social circle, maybe a few talents you're proud of, and the resources you scrape together. But if we strip all of that away, the single most valuable asset you will ever own is staring back at you in the mirror. It's just you. Yet most people spend their entire lives building up everything and everyone except themselves. Think about it. How many times have you poured your energy into people who wouldn't lift a finger for you? How many times have you chased opportunities that didn't even align with who you actually want to be? We plant ourselves in toxic environments and then wonder why we aren't blooming. Then we wake up one day, exhausted and empty, asking, why hasn't anything changed? Here's the reality check you need to sit with. You can never outgrow the investment you make in yourself. You can't give away what you haven't built inside. If you refuse to prepare for the life you claim you want, don't be surprised when it never shows up. It's not waiting out there in the world, it's locked inside you, waiting for you to actually do the heavy lifting. Chapter 2. Preparation is what opens the door. There is a massive difference between crying out for a breakthrough and actually being ready to handle it when it arrives. Think of it this way. Prayer and wishing might invite an opportunity, but preparation is what positions you to actually keep it. Desiring a change opens the door, but raw discipline determines whether you get kicked out of the room or not. Look at anything great in this world. It didn't just appear. It went through a messy, hidden process before it was ever ready for the public. True purpose demands that process. It requires your time, your isolated focus, and zero shortcuts. Most people want the prize without the training camp. But potential isn't automatic. It's just buried capability, waiting to be dragged out through daily, boring, unglamorous consistency. You don't manifest potential by wishing on a star. You cultivate it in the dark, when nobody is clapping for you. Chapter 3. You are responsible for your own growth. One of the most dangerous traps you can fall into is waiting around for someone else to save you or thinking a lucky break is going to fix your life. That's a lie. Growth doesn't work like that. Life might hand you a seed, but it is 100% your responsibility to water it. You might be given a vision, but you have to build the strategy. An opportunity might knock, but you have to execute the stewardship. And guess what? If you just sit on your hands doing nothing with what you've been given, that opportunity will quietly pack its bags and move on to someone who's actually ready to run with it. Let me ask you 3 uncomfortable questions, and don't give me the polite answers. If your life right now was a business, would you put your own money into it? If your daily habits were an employee working for you, would you promote them or fire them on the spot? If your current mindset was a product on a shelf, would anyone actually buy it? Those hurt to hear, right? Good. They're supposed to. Chapter 4. Your future lives inside your daily decisions. We love to pray for a new season or wait for the clock to strike midnight on a new year. But let's be real. A new calendar page doesn't automatically fix a stagnant mind. You can cross over into a brand new month or year carrying the exact same baggage, the exact same fears, the same lazy habits, and the same tired excuses. And you know what will happen? Your future will look exactly like your past. The date changes, but your life stays on loop. Get this through your head. Your life today is just the receipt for the investments you made yesterday. And your life tomorrow? That's being decided by what you do before you go to bed tonight. You are actively building your future right now with every single choice, every wasted hour, and every piece of garbage you consume. The future isn't some mystical secret, it's just the harvest of whatever you're planting today. Chapter 5. The mind is the womb of your destiny. Whatever you let into your mind becomes the raw material for your reality. If you feed it nothing but doubt, don't wonder why you feel limited. If you feed it fear, expect to stay stuck. But if you intentionally feed it knowledge, perspective, hard discipline, and clear vision, your life will start moving in a completely different direction. Think of your mental diet as your actual investment portfolio. What are you reading? What are you scrolling through? Who are you listening to? These aren't just cheap ways to pass the time. They are the literal blueprints of who you are becoming. Too many people wake up, immediately grab their phones and flood their brains with noise, negativity, and other people's highlight reels. Then they spend the rest of the day wondering why they feel anxious and stuck. You are the product of what you consume. Guard your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Chapter 6. Stop scattering your energy. One of the quickest ways to ruin your life is divided focus. Think about a river. If it splits into 20 tiny streams, it loses all its strength and dries up. But if you channel that same water into one single direction, it can literally cut through solid rock. Your energy works the exact same way. Some of you are trying to be everywhere at once, which means you're ultimately nowhere. You start a project, get bored, and abandon it. You commit to everything but dedicate yourself to nothing. You're spinning your wheels, confusing movement with actual progress. That's not ambition. It's just distraction wearing a fancy outfit. Purpose simplifies things. When you know what actually matters, you realize how much stuff doesn't. Success isn't about doing a million things. It's about doing the right things over and over again. And that requires mastering one very uncomfortable word. No. No to the people draining your energy. No to the habits that pull you backward. No to a life you don't actually want to live. Chapter 7. Discipline is the language of destiny. Let's bust a myth right now. A farmer doesn't sit on his porch praying for a harvest. He goes out into the dirt and plants the seeds. Hope is not a strategy. Wishful thinking will not support you when things get heavy. There are rules to this life, and they apply to everyone equally. The law of sowing and reaping doesn't care about your good intentions. It only responds to what you actually do. Sow laziness, you reap frustration. Sow distraction, you reap stagnation. Sow excuses, you reap a lifetime of regret. But when you choose to sow discipline, focus, and knowledge, even when you don't feel like it, you inevitably harvest real results. Success isn't a random miracle, it's a management outcome. What you do every day is building your permanent reality. Chapter 8. Private investment creates public impact. The hours you put in when absolutely nobody is watching are the exact hours that will pay off when everyone is looking. Self-investment isn't sexy. It doesn't look cool on an Instagram story. There are no applause, no likes, and no instant validation. It is quiet, lonely, and entirely unseen. But it builds a foundation so solid that no one can ignore it. Private discipline always creates public success. What you do in the dark eventually forced its way into the light. The people you look up to, the ones with the impact, the freedom, and the excellence, didn't get there by accident. They chose discipline over comfort thousands of times in empty rooms where nobody even knew their names. That is the price of admission. Chapter 9. Investing in yourself is strategic, not selfish. I know some of you feel a nagging sense of guilt when you start prioritizing your own growth. You think focusing on yourself means you're being self-centered, but let me ask you, how can you pour from an empty cup? You cannot give the world something you don't possess. You can't lift anyone up if you're drowning. You can't lead anyone if you are completely lost yourself. Honestly, The most selfless thing you can do for the people who rely on you is to become the strongest, healthiest version of yourself. When you grow, your relationships win. When you level up, your family wins. When you elevate your standards, your whole community gets lifted. Taking care of your growth isn't selfish. It's preparing yourself to serve the world properly.
Chapter 10. Consistency turns effort into mastery. Trying hard once in a while only leads to frustration, not a transformation. A talent you only practice when you feel like it will stay completely average. A mind you only feed once a month will stay shallow. A dream you only work on when you're inspired will stay a fantasy. But consistency, the tiny, boring, daily actions, is what turns raw effort into absolute mastery. Take reading, for example. If you read just 10 pages a day, you'll clear 12 books in a year. 10 pages takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It seems like nothing in the moment, but over a year? That's a massive shift in how you think, speak, and view the world. You don't need giant, terrifying leaps to change your life. You just need to keep taking honest steps. Chapter 11. Your environment is either watering or poisoning you. It's an old saying for a reason. Show me the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I can predict exactly where you'll be in 5 years. Your environment secretly builds your expectations. Your circle quietly sets your baseline. The conversations you tolerate every day are shaping your mindset, whether you notice it or not. Some of you need to ruthlessly clean out your social circle. Not because you're arrogant or think you're better than anyone else, but because where you are headed requires a completely different atmosphere. You cannot expand your mind in a space where everyone else is comfortable shrinking. You can't think big around people who survive on small talk and gossip. The people around you are either watering your future or putting poison in your soil. Sometimes, the best investment you can make is simply having the guts to walk away. Chapter 12. 3 Pillars of Self-Investment. If you want to completely overhaul your life, you have to build across 3 distinct dimensions. 1. Your spirit. This is your anchor. Spiritual investment, taking time for silence, self-reflection, and deeper alignment, gives you a baseline of peace. Without this, you're trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand. It's not a waste of time, it's the foundation for everything else. 2. Your mind. This is your engine. Read, study, and actively seek out mentors who are further down the road than you. Force your brain to grapple with ideas that stretch you. Your thinking is the ultimate ceiling on your income and your happiness. 3. Your skills. These are your tools. Master your craft. Study the fine details. Become so sharp at what you do that your reputation enters the room before you do. Think about the balance here. A spiritually grounded person with 0 skills becomes ineffective. A highly skilled person with no character or grounding becomes dangerous. And a wise person with 0 discipline accomplishes absolutely nothing. True impact requires all 3: spirit, mind, and skill. Chapter 13. Your destiny is inside you. Deep down, there is already a version of you that exists in full. A version that is highly disciplined, deeply focused, incredibly wise, and living with undeniable purpose. And right now, that version of you is asking you to close the gap between who you are being today and who you were actually designed to become. Your future isn't a lottery ticket. It's not something that randomly happens to you. It is something you step into, one day at a time, through intentional and courageous self-investment. It's not down the road, it's waiting inside you to be cultivated. Chapter 14. The 2 pains. Choose wisely. At the end of the day, you only get to choose between 2 kinds of pain in this life. There is the pain of discipline, or there is the pain of regret. Discipline is heavy. It sucks in the short term, but it builds muscle and character. Regret, on the other hand, feels light and easy in the moment, but it will absolutely crush you later in life.
Every single person you admire stood exactly where you are standing right now, at the fork in the road between taking action or making excuses. Between investing in themselves or staying comfortable. And they chose to do the work. Final declaration. That exact same choice is sitting on the table in front of you right now. If you are honestly ready to stop drifting and start building a life you respect, make that commitment to yourself today. No more rehearsals. This is your real life. This is your moment, and no one else is going to fix it for you. You might just be one book away from a completely new perspective. One daily discipline away from a massive breakthrough. One hard decision away from a totally different life. Stop waiting. Go make that decision right now.